We've all done some of these things in the past, some of you are now, and we need to stop. During this video, many of you will want to rush away to delete wording, change labels, check all of your marketing, but please, please, please watch all of this video first. I've had this scheduled for a different date, but I see so many businesses making these mistakes that I prioritised it so you guys can benefit from it sooner, since so many people ask me. Please remember that I've made this video to help you, not scare you. I know how difficult it is to find regulation information you need and then to make sense of it. So although I'm just one person, I hope with the help of this video you can do some research yourself and ensure your business isn't making claims that it shouldn't. Always fact check, never rely on one source of information, that includes myself. I cited my sources for the video for your reference, so you can read those for yourself if you want to. I didn't realise myself just how deep the information and rules on claims went in the UK and the potential penalties. It may be if you are found to be making one of these mistakes, you get a slap on the wrist and are told what to change, but you could also be fined, closed down, or told to remove the products from sale depending on severity, so please keep watching. Watch all of the video, and if you want a copy of the transcript with links and resources I used, then you can find that on my Patreon or the website membership, which are both linked below. I've done my very best to research, collect and fact check the information in this video using reliable and official sources, but obviously I'm only a small creator and you should look further into this yourself as well. Never depend on one source of information, and you can seek professional legal advice if you're in doubt. Here's what you need to know. Cosmetic claims is something that really needs to be discussed and understood. There is a fine line between describing your product and claiming that it does something specific. So in this video, I'm going to cover what a cosmetic claim is, the 6 common criteria for cosmetic claims, who's responsible for these claims, popular claims and why people are breaching the 6 criteria, what can you say on a label and in marketing, and how to get your claims tested so that you can be on the label. Also, what evidence can you use to back up your claim, why claim regulation matters, and the consequences of not following the 6 criteria. Information in this video was gathered from resources from ctpa.org.uk, who are a fantastic resource for cosmetic makers with many questions answered on a handy FAQ section. I also consulted various qualified safety assessors, used my own experience of the industry and the following websites: General Cosmetic Safety, Hooley Brown, ISCA Cosmetic Testing and the European Commission, as well as the .gov website and of course the cosmetic regulations documents. Article 20 of the UK Cosmetic Regulation, numbers on the screen, and the EU Cosmetic Products Regulation, numbers on the screen, give the requirements for cosmetic claims. Both the UK and EU articles state that in the labelling, making available on the market and advertising of cosmetic products, text, names, trademarks, pictures and figurative or other signs shall not be used to imply that these products have characteristics or function that they do not have. They also have to comply with this regulation, which sets out the common criteria for cosmetic claims for the EU and UK. These are legal compliance, comply with the legal regulations, but this shouldn't be mentioned, more on this later. Truthfulness, be truthful, don't say your product contains something it doesn't, for example. Evidential support, provide backup to your claims with evidence. This doesn't apply to hyperbolic claims such as gives you wings, as clearly this is a joke that no one would take literally. Honesty, hand in hand with truthfulness, be honest, don't say that it's the UK's favourite skincare product, as this isn't factual or honest, stick to facts about your own product. Fairness, be fair with your descriptions and marketing, don't compare 2 entirely different products to make a point about your own. Allow informed decision making. Any claims you make must be clear, understandable and give the customer enough information to make an informed decision about whether to buy your product or not. The responsibility for making any claims lies with the responsible person, so ultimately you. unless you've appointed a company or individual to act as RP for you, in which case they should have advised you if anything looked incorrect. The responsible person is responsible for any claim made about their product, even if you didn't write it. This means if you work with influencers, please be mindful of what they say. This will be the reason that most brands will give influencers scripts. So if you ever wondered why, that's why. Then there are customer reviews. Yep, if a customer reviews a product and claims it cured, helped or treated a medical or skin condition, then by showing the claim on your website, you are essentially adopting that claim in the eyes of the regulators. It becomes your claim for that product. This is especially true if you specifically print off the customer reviews and images claiming things to use in your marketing online and in person. Before and after images are specifically risky if you cannot back up the claims, as it changes the product from being a cosmetic product to potentially clinical. To avoid this, when asking for customer reviews, ask them to avoid making bold statements unless you already legally claim something, and moderate reviews before they're published. If you have to edit to potentially remove risky claims, email the customer and explain that whilst you're so happy that they feel that way about your product, for legal reasons surrounding cosmetic claims, you need to edit their review and ask if there's anything different that they'd like to say. If you do this, then you need to have the required evidence to support the claim the customer is making. The fact that they said it and provided before and after photos is not enough. Also know that the use of disclaimers doesn't counter their claim, so using wording like reviews are customer's opinion only or results may vary won't do anything. By displaying a customer review, you take responsibility for that claim in the eyes of the regulations. There are specialist claim experts if you need help with this. So, what are the most popular claims or trends to try and market cosmetics? Well, the first one that comes to mind is natural and organic. If I had £1 for every small business who came to me saying that they wanted to start a natural organic skincare range, I'd be able to afford some lovely new lab equipment. It's all people seem to want to do, and that's fine, but don't fall into the trap of thinking it's a necessity or that it's unique in some way. There's no formal definition of natural or organic, and it's not regulated, but there is an ISO standard, this one. It offers guidance on what the definition of natural and organic is, and then this ISO, which shows how to calculate the percent of naturalness of your ingredients in your finished product. Then we have free from, insert in prohibited ingredient here. You cannot claim that your product is free from any ingredient that is officially banned in the EU or UK legislation, as it would apply to everyone in the industry and not just you. Stating your product is free from a banned substance implies to the customer that the banned substance is still around, which is not true. If you want to claim your product is free from an ingredient that isn't banned, such as a type of preservative or colorant or formaldehyde, then your product must be free from any ingredient in that group, nor must it release that ingredient. Your CPSR and safety assessor will be able to confirm this for you. You must also provide evidence for that claim. Free from claims should also not be used when they contain a critical message or exacerbate misinformation about a functional ingredient group. What this means is things such as saying free from parabens based on a negative perception online of the safety that has no basis in science. Certain parabens are completely safe, and therefore a claim of no parabens encompasses a whole functional group of ingredients, and therefore is not an acceptable claim, as it demonises authorised, well-researched and safe substances, and it perpetuates the misinformation. Help science communication by avoiding claims like this. Free from claims you could use as they allow an information choice and target a specific group and fit the common criteria would be things like free from animal derived ingredients if the customer is looking for vegetarian products, and you have evidence in your PIF to support the claim, or perhaps acetone free for nail polish if the customer wishes to avoid the acetone smell. Moving on, allergen free. Following on from free from claims, you cannot claim a product is allergen free just because of one fragrance oil being allergen free or your belief that the product is, as anyone can be allergic to anything. Therefore, you cannot guarantee that a customer won't have a reaction to your product. Then we have not tested on animals, relating to the common criteria about, since animal testing is banned in the UK and EU, putting this information on your label could be classed as being in breach. If you write that, it's considered a claim and therefore would need to be proven by solid evidence. Just by being on the market in the UK and EU, your product would be deemed as not tested on animals. You even have a statement in your product information file saying as such. If you want to highlight your animal rights values, you could consider applying for a license to use one of the official logos such as Leaping Bunny or PETA. Next we have vegan claims. Again, there's no legal definition of vegan, and claiming your product is vegan could be a claim that would need to be substantiated with proof. This includes claims such as suitable for vegans or contains no animal-derived products. You could therefore gather no animal testing declarations from suppliers, SDS documents that prove no animal testing of the ingredients, your own declaration and any other proof these ingredients and manufacturing processes are vegan friendly. The next popular claim is hair growth. This is incredibly popular. I see many rosemary hair growth oils, shampoos, conditioners come across my desk whilst providing admin services, and all of them have had to be advised to change the wording. If you're claiming a product causes or positively impacts hair growth or strengthens the hair, then you need proof. This proof would be in the form of official claims and testing groups where X amount of people tested and Y found it grew their hair, plus ingredient manufacturer documents that prove their individual claims that the ingredient you used worked in the way it was intended. Claiming legal compliance. I see many people say on their website, I've got CPSR documentation, I follow the rules. Actually, this breaches the first criteria, legal compliance, purely because it is a regulation that everyone must follow. Stating it implies that not everyone is compliant, which then technically breaches truthfulness, as everyone is required by law to comply with the cosmetic regulations. Now, I know what you're going to say, some people don't follow the regulations, and yes, I know, but they are in breach of the law, and when they are discovered they will face hefty fines, penalties, and there's even a possibility of a prison sentence. So don't worry about them, just worry about your own product. Don't make claims around your legal compliance, just be compliant. Next is specific ingredient efficacy claims. The efficacy of a product is determined by the final result, a mixture of those ingredients acting together, not any one ingredient. Therefore, an ingredient claim can't be made. Then we've got treats, helps or cures. These are verging on medical claims and require proper claims testing and or clinical trials in a lab and controlled conditions. Then we have ingredient claims referring to the properties of a specific ingredient and should not imply that the finished ingredient has the same properties when it does not, relating to the earlier claim. Nourishing and moisturising, two very popular words used on labels. Unless you have evidence that your product has in fact nourished the skin or hair and moisturise it, then this would be an unsubstantiated claim. The same with moisturising. Though by nature some products will be wet and by definition impart moisture when applied, so this term could be okay if you have sufficient ingredient evidence in the form of data sheets and ingredient information, but you can't scientifically prove that your skin is moisturised unless you have trials. Next we have hypoallergenic. This does not guarantee the total absence of risk to the customer of an allergic reaction, and therefore a product shouldn't use this word as it implies that it does. Then we have cleansing. Yep, you'd think this was just general wording, but no. You're telling the customer that the product does something, it cleanses the skin. Therefore, the claim would need to be backed up by real data. You can't prove in-house that your product has cleansed the skin without very good eyesight. You know it did, you can feel it did, but you can't prove it in any scientific way without proof. Therefore, a claims test resulting in supporting evidence of your claim would be required. There are many more things which you might say, which could be seen as claims, so please do a sanity check before you go to market. Does my wording meet the 6 criteria? Do I have evidence to substantiate my claims? This is all in reference to claims in general. There are additional rules for advertising, but I suggest you check out the CTPA website for their helpful PDF guides. Bear in mind what you put on your label also relates to your marketing, things you say on social media, things you may say on a TikTok live. If you're selling a product to a customer, you must be careful what you say or imply when writing or talking about your product. I know many of you who watch my channel will be saying, but you say this, that and the other on your YouTube products when you make them, and that's right, I do. However, these aren't for sale. I'm suggesting what the finished product is intended to do. My disclaimer makes it clear that my videos are experiments and I learn from them and make no claims of efficacy, and I explain the ingredient function to get to the finished product. If I was to sell any product I show on YouTube, it would be a soap or a scrub, and any claims I'd have to have evidence in my PIF to support. So what can you say? My answer to that is, do you even need to claim anything? The product being called a soap or a body wash or a body scrub may be enough. If the branding and the product are good enough, that should be enough. Because nowadays with small businesses, it's more about the person selling the product and their story and their values than what the actual product does. So build on that instead. We're small businesses, not giant brands, so our marketing and the way we reach customers is different. If you really want to say certain things, then I suggest you consult a claims expert. Run past them what you want to say and ask what evidence or testing you'd need to support those claims before you use them. It's not that you can't make claims, it's just that if you do, you'll need to back them up. So things like firms the skin and reduces fine lines, 8 out of 10 people agree their skin look brighter, leaves skin feel softer. Whereas if you said gets rid of wrinkles forever, or the UK's favourite skincare brand, or the softest skin ever, you'd be making unacceptable claims that couldn't be proven. HoolieBrown.com has a great blog post on cosmetic claims and examples which I recommend taking a look at. Where can I get claims testing if I need it? ISCA Cosmetic Testing work with some cosmetic claims and have specific tests that they can help you with. It's worth talking to them, so click the link below to visit the site for more information. If you need advice on your claims and what you need to do to substantiate them, then talk to ISCA, or you could also talk to ceway.eu. To provide the legal evidence for a claim, you can use historical data in the form of historical use of ingredients, SDS sheets, manufacturer information, supplier information sheets, surveys, focus groups, clinical trials, lab testing, dermatological testing, scientific papers and peer-reviewed studies on the ingredients. How much evidence you need would very much depend on the claim you are making. Claims regulations matter because without them consumers would have no trust of brands. It would lead to even more misinformation out there than there already is, and even more fear-based marketing. The biggest one at the moment is the natural claim. This is now so widespread that if a brand doesn't say natural, in its consumers' eyes it implies it's bad or unsafe. This then leads to natural ingredients being seen as good for you and everything else being seen as a synthetic chemical that equals danger. Newsflash, everything is a chemical. This is fear marketing at its finest. For one, everything is a chemical, from the water you drink to the air you breathe. For another, I can think of some very natural, dangerous substances such as mercury, some mushrooms, various plants you might find in your garden even. The natural leaning brands often use essential oils as a big selling point of their formulation. These can be very dangerous when used incorrectly. There are strict usage rates and some of them can lead to photosensitivity. It's important to inform yourself before informing others and always check your sources. This includes me and this video. If you make misleading claims and you can't back up anything you've said, then you could face serious consequences such as a loss of trust of your brand, trading standards or other authorities taking your product off the market. They could also take legal action against you or issue you with a fine. So don't shrug your shoulders and say, well, I've got this far without any consequences. With the increase in small skincare businesses, authorities are clamping down on those who aren't following the regulations. I don't make the rules. I'm just here to help you understand them and to avoid the penalties. I try to explain things as simply as I possibly can, but if you have any questions about this topic, you can chat with me on Patreon, and that's linked below, where I can put you in touch with professionals to help or other resources to read. And you'll also, as I said, find the transcript to this video there in PDF format, which you can print off to keep as a reference. And that's where I'll leave this video. Credit where it's due to the wonderful sources I found in order to research all of this for you, together with my own knowledge on the subject. I hope you found this useful. Lastly, if you want to launch your own cosmetic product and ensure that you're clued up on all of the cosmetic regulations for selling, then I suggest you watch this video next.